Think about the last day that you've just had and ask yourself, how negative were you? Were you negative at a 0 or a 1 or a 2, or were you negative at a 10, a 9 or an 8? Well, here's something you need to know about negativity, is that negativity shrinks your brain quite literally, and I mean that from a physiological perspective. You see, when we are chronically negative, we are releasing cortisol into the bloodstream. And the more cortisol we release into the bloodstream, the more we overstimulate brain cells to death. Now, when we do this, there are parts of the brain that literally physically shrink, and we can see this in fMRI scanners. We can see this in the hippocampus. We can see this in the prefrontal cortex. Now, these parts of the brain are really, really important. They're important for our ability to focus. So if you're chronically negative, your ability to focus will start dropping. You'll be less able to focus on the things that you want. If you start shrinking your brain, you're less psychologically resilient, which means that when things come at you and blindside you, which you didn't expect, you're more likely to crumble, to buckle, to bend and to burn out. And you lose things like creativity. Your ability to be curious disappears. It becomes harder to be curious, and the creativity thing I touched on is really, really important, because that hippocampus of yours, which is literally shrinking when you're chronically negative, is less able to recall past memories. Now, if we think that creativity, or we know that creativity is essentially us colliding old memories from the past, old ideas, into something new and different, then if you're less able to connect with those memories, you're less able to be creative. And if you're less curious, you're less willing to be creative. And if you have no focus, you're less able to stay focused on the task at hand in order to be creative for any length of time. So if you wish to be more creative, more anti-fragile, if you wish to be more curious in life, you need to be less negative in life, which means you need to stop being fed the bullshit that everyone else is feeding you, because you are what you eat, and you are what the bullshit is that you are fed, if that makes any sense.